Adrian, who's your evaluator? You know, that's a good question. I don't think the evaluators have been. I was asked to do about an hour. I had called and stuff. Do we?
I'm going to give you a hard time.
Well, we just need to figure out who the evaluators are for Adrian.
Okay, do that? Okay. Let's,
You have to do an evaluation.
okay.
Evaluate. Have a current evaluator, right? But Philip will take care of that. Is that
Is
right?
there someone who doesn't have a role?
Well. I would like to do an evaluation. Fair, we can-
All righty. Okay.
This meeting of HealthMasters is now called to order. Please take your seats and be prepared to participate in a lively meeting. Please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Toastmaster for the day is not new to Toastmasters. He's been in Toastmasters for quite a number of years, quite a number of clubs. He likes to keep that secret, but he's got some experience. We look forward to him being Toastmaster today. Please help me welcome Toastmaster David Redding.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests. We have a princess here joining us here. We're so happy to have her as our guest. And now, give you an opportunity to tell us something for this chocolate bar. All you have to do is be the first person to correctly answer the question. I see Charlie's got some food, but, you know, Charlie, this would be good, wouldn't it? To compliment that Chick-fil-A, I think that's what that is. All you have to do is be the first person to correctly answer this question, which is, on this date in history, September 19th, 1970, a TV show debuted called The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Have you ever heard of that show? Who can turn the world on with her smile. All you have to do to get this chocolate bar is to tell us the character's last name. Mary,
Tyler Moore.
but what in the show? What was her last name? Mary Richards. Was that Philip first? All right, now the toss, the famous Adrian toss. All right, we got it. What happened to my little breaking protocol here? Oh, here it is. I got distracted by my roast beef sandwich. Why don't we now hear from our grammarian who will tell us a word of the day. Our grammarian who will be giving that word to us. She's Johnny on the spot, Johnette on the spot, Carol Jackson. Where's some tape?
Yes. The word of today, September 19, 2016, is epic. Noun, very impulsive or impressive, suppressing the ordinary. Proper, original, grand, and similar. I believe that epic fits each and every one of us in this room. So today let's try to use epic as much as possible because, again, we all are very imposing, impressive, suppressing, and ordinary. Proper, original, grand, and we all have similarities. You are epic! I need it.
All right, I taped it up already. I already got it.
Oh, you already had it? All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I was watching Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. It's on Netflix, but there's a character named Epic. But wasn't that an epic word of the day? Epic. It defines itself, right? Thanks for that wonderful applause, Adrian. Wonderful applause from the audience. You all are too involved here. Just tone it down on the applause. I don't need to hear this massive applause. It's too intense for me. Now it is time to find out how we can be better Toastmasters. And that job is only given to the one person each meeting that does the Toastmaster Minute. And that role is filled by Toastmaster Delisa Shawn Johnson. Hey.
Good afternoon. I know it's been a minute since everybody's seen me. I think the last time I was up here, I gave a speech, was my very first speech, and I told you all at the end of it I didn't know what I was going to do once my kids graduated. Well, the next day I found out I was pregnant. So with the next 18 years, I have the opportunity to have something to do. My tip for today is based off of an incident that happened in a job prior in 2003. I worked for the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission, and I worked during that time for Senator Tracy Steele. This particular day, what ended up happening is that he had to go do a speech in front of 300 Head Start teachers. Well, he decided to take a dentist appointment early that morning. Luckily, since I was an administrative assistant, I knew exactly what to talk about, knew exactly what he was going to be doing, but he called at the last minute and decided to tell myself and another coworker that he wasn't going to be able to do the speech. So me and her was standing there trying to figure out, hey, what we're going to do, what we're going to do, what we're going to present. So I said, oh, I got his speech right here. So luckily I had his speech in front of me. So my tip for you all today is that no matter what the situation is, always be prepared.
Thank you so much. Fantastic, fantastic. And Adrian always has 5 speeches prepared. He can give 5 speeches anytime, any day. Isn't that right, Adrian? Absolutely. Maybe it's 3, but 3 to 5, that's pretty close. And now, the exciting part, I can tell by your faces. By your face, Alexa is excited. The speaking portion of our program is about to begin. Joyce can't wait for this part of the meeting. The speaking portion, our first speaker Well, first of all, let me ask you a question. Think about an important choice that you have made in your life. Our first speaker will be giving a speech entitled The Choice. Please welcome Toastmaster Scott Gann.
Morning, fellow club members, Toastmaster officers. It is an epic day today. How many people have made a choice? Several, right? You make a choice every day. You make a choice to get up and come to work. You made a choice to come to the meeting. You made a choice to join the health department. We all make choices every day, correct? My choices have stemmed from little to now, right? So I chose to have children. We chose to come to Arkansas. We chose to move several places. All these choices have been able to impact my life. The very first choice I want to bring up for you is a choice that in 1999 I chose to get into EMS. For those of you who may not know what EMS is, it's Emergency Medical Services. That single choice as a 17-year-old boy has proven to be one of the most epic choices of my life. So I go and I do wonderful things, right? As an EMT, you get to see all sorts of people in some of the best and worst positions. In 2001, I made the choice to go to 9/11. Had the opportunity, we made the choice. Some of the worst times of our country, right? We just celebrated 15 years. But that choice allowed me to see the worst possible time that anyone and any individual could possibly see. But I stuck with it. I chose to stay with this career. So in 2005, I had to make another choice, and that was to go to Hurricane Katrina. Now, you would think that 9/11 was bad, and it was, don't get me wrong. But in 2005, our country got just a little worse. Some of the worst devastation I've ever seen, including from 9/11, was there with Katrina. But I chose to stick with these people, and I chose to follow them through Houston, and I followed them to Little Rock, and I followed them to Memphis. It was a choice. It was a choice that I stick with today, and thank God I did. So I had another position come open. And in 2012, I had to make one more choice, and that was to uproot my family and move to Memphis, Tennessee. Why, you ask? Why would you make a choice to move to Memphis from South Houston? Simple. We wanted to be next to family. Now, that choice proved to be a little difficult. And Memphis just wasn't the place that my wife and I thought it was going to be to raise our child. So we came home. After all, we're both from Arkansas, right? Once Arkansan, always an Arkansan. Remember that from the last speech? So we come back here, and I choose to join the health department. That choice of a lifetime has led to even more of an epic career for me. I've gotten to know all of you. I got to meet some extraordinary people. I've even been down to the governor's office. Choices, ladies and gentlemen, are something that we cannot take for granted. They're presented every day. It can be small. It can be, what color tie am I going to wear? Am I going to wear blue or purple today? Now, some of my choices are made by my 4-year-old when she tells me, you will wear purple. And I say, okay. Then today, I chose to come to work, and I chose to come to HealthMasters. Now, it's a choice that sometimes we can't make for ourselves, right? We're so busy and we can't be here. But every time I come to HealthMasters and that choice is made, I feel better about just being here. Our choices lead us to who we are. Our choices, designed by nature and by God, lead us down a path. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to help you make a choice. Choose to do the right thing, because then you can live with yourself. Choose to be around good people, because then it makes you better. And please, by all means, choose to follow your heart and follow the path that the Lord has set out for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. You know, I had to make a very pressing choice last week. It was a very intense choice, and it was the choice between watching Judge Judy or Judge Mathis. And I'll tell you, that was tough. One thing that I've learned in life, though, in seriousness, is Dr. Martin Luther King once said that the time is always right to do what is right. So we always have an opportunity to make the right choice, even if choices we made in the past might not have been the best. We can always choose a different path. It's all up to us. Thank you, Scott. And now, all right, well, let's move ahead here in our program. We'll do a little Johnny on the spot. You never get rattled if you're Toastmaster. Things will be thrown at you, someone left, whatever. That's all right, Charlie? Just go with the punches. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you a question right now, and the question is, how do you deal with tragedy? Would you like to know some ways that you can use to help improve how you handle when you're dealt with tragedy? I know I would. It's been said that we're always in a tragedy, no matter what we're going through, because we're either having a tragedy approach us, we're in a tragedy, or we're recovering from a tragedy. So in a way, we're always in a tragedy. Isn't that right? Our next speaker has dealt with tragedy. And in the next few minutes, he will be sharing with us 3 techniques we can use to effectively deal with bad things. His speech is titled, "The Power of Setting Up Right." Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Adrian Duncan.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, setting it up right. I started out several years ago helping you. I have a question for you. Have you ever been in the fire? Any of you? Have you ever been in a lion's den? Have you ever been in a belly of a whale? Oh, great. That's what I need to hear. Now, actually, that's an epic opportunity. Because I want to help you see something from the fire to the choir. When I saw you in this group today with an epic opportunity, I noticed there were 3 young people in the fire. How many of you heard about the 3 Hebrew men in the fire? Most of you have been in a situation where it was so fiery you didn't know what to do. You were burning from top to bottom, side, left, and right. Is that right? I have. I bet you have. When you start looking around, sit back and watch and see the joy that you have in the one and only Savior, Jesus. Let me tell you. There's a song. Now, I like this song, and I bet you there's a song. Tell me a song that you love. Just somebody in the audience, tell me a song you love.
Stop believing.
There you go. It is well with my soul, therefore I don't stop believing. Number 2, in the lion's den, there was someone tossed in the lion's den. He laid down and took a nap. Can you do that? Have you been in the lion's den? I have. Have you seen those lions attacking? I'm sure that someone has attacked you, and you just lay down and let him take over, let her take over. That's what we do in the lion's den. I noticed Jonah in the whale shocked me, and I'll bet Jonah shocked you. Have you ever been swallowed up by the epic opportunities in your work, your family, those that put you under the rug and tossed you into the middle of something that you had no way to get out of, except you were in a pot of stew, so to speak, like all the seaweeds that Jonah was there in? Have you been in that also, opportunity? Wow. Has anyone been in a situation like Joseph? Anyone remember Joseph and the situation he got into? He went from the pit way on down, just like you, when you fell into the pit. Then one day he went from the pit on up and up and up. Where did he go to the highest? To the palace. If you noticed your life, I noticed the joy and then others that's helped you. I'll bet there's some Toastmasters in this room that has helped you do something different. I noticed that when you went through all those things and when you went through from the fire to the choir to the palace, you've learned something about life. When you say to others, I've been in that fire, can you explain to them how the fire was, like the 3 Hebrew children? Or like Samson, that had a challenge with the lions and the bear, and even in his tough times, like you, he sat back one afternoon and had an entire beehive full of honey. Everybody thought it was a tragedy because the honey came from the middle of the tragedy. I noticed Joseph had the tragedy like you have had a tragedy. I think you have been with those others that helped you get through the tragedy that most people have been through. What I want to show you today, when you're in the fire, there's a problem, a challenge, opportunity. When you go to the lion's den, there's a problem, a challenge, an opportunity. When you're in the belly of the whale, there's a challenge, an opportunity. And most likely in Joseph's life, as you have been with Joseph, from the pit to the palace, I believe that with that epic opportunity, you can overcome. I believe when you joined Toastmasters, you saw something. At first, when you got in there like today and they gave you an assignment, you said, oh my gosh, I'm in the fire. What do I do? Help! The next thing, I heard some people sitting back there said, wow, I feel like I'm in the lion's den. They're about to chew me up. The next one I heard was, wow, I'm in all this mess, just like Jonah was in all those seaweeds. Then somebody said, you hadn't been in the pit like I have, which I noticed several of you have been in the pit, right? Now I can see that each one of you truly are raising your eyebrows, looking in your eyes, lifting them heavenward to see something from Jesus, others, and you. I believe you have gone already from the fire to the lion's den to the belly of the whale into the pit. Now, I believe you're ready to rise up, open up your heart, mind, body, and soul from the fire to the choir. Does anybody in the room agree with me from there? Epic! Mr. Toastmaster! They've been there once.
Napoleon Hill once said that with every difficulty lies a seed of an equal or greater opportunity or benefit. Isn't that true? If you look hard enough, can't you find the benefit? And if you look hard enough, can't you figure out how we can get this PowerPoint up? If you look hard enough, I think that you will be able to figure it out.
See you in the fire or the choir?
Now, let me ask you a question. And that question is, do you remember what the Toastmasters promise is? Alexa is nodding her head, sort of. Nicole, nodding her head. Toastmasters promise. Adrian, Toastmasters promise. Our next speaker will be sharing with us the importance of this promise that you have in front of you. If you don't have it, raise your hand. If you do not have the promise, Nicole does not have the promise. A couple folks in the back, Dewey, can we get them the promise? You will be getting the promise very shortly. Now, her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. It's not 10 to 15, a little bit shorter. 5 to 7 minutes, entitled Keeping the Commitment. Please welcome Toastmaster Susan McGarr.
Keeping the commitment. Outline. It takes time, commitment, and effort to reap the full benefits of Toastmasters membership. Toastmasters promise guides you through what it takes to fulfill your obligations to the club, the fellow memberships, and yourself. Commit to a Toastmasters promise. A Toastmasters promise is a set of standards for members' responsibilities. And to the club. These standards revolve around three fundamental maxims: participate, aid fellowship, and maintain club quality. Promise to participate. Attend club meetings regularly. Regular attendance helps rapidly conquer fears, sharpen speaking skills, and bolster leadership proficiency. You get good at something, you it a few thousand times. Prepare speech projects carefully. Toastmasters educational program builds skills through assignments, and an alternate personal curriculum defeats the purpose of measuring progress against a proven method. Prepare and fulfill meeting assignments. Ill-prepared members miss the opportunity to learn and cheat fellowship members out of what they may learn from the members' contribution. Promise to aid for fellowship, provide helpful, constructive evaluations. Every Toastmaster deserves the supportive feedback with advice for improving speaking and leadership efforts. Promote a positive, friendly environment by arriving early to mingle and get to know members. Greet everyone and introduce yourself to guests. Serve as an officer. Club meetings require teamwork and planning. Without these things, the club would suffer. Be respectful and courteous to everyone. Everyone deserves encouragement, support, and acknowledgement, regardless of membership status or achievement level. Be promised to maintain club quality. Bring guests. Give more people the benefit of Toastmasters program. Introduce new personalities and ideas to the club. Follow guidelines and rules. Non-compliance diminish the meaning and value of awards and achievements for yourself and others. Do you get good at something? Do you a few thousand times? Prepare speech projects carefully. Leadership training. In conclusion, clubs are only as strong as the members. Guarantee the success of your club, your fellow members, and yourself by keeping the commitment to excellence. During this presentation, we have talked about the A, B, C's of Toastmasters: participate, aid, fellowship, and maintain club quality. I challenge each of you to take this message to heart. By doing this, we can bring our club to the highest achievement level. President's Distinguished Club, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. I think it was Brian Tracy who said that in life we'll regret many things, but we'll never regret being too nice or too kind. I agree with him. I want to tell you all, I really appreciate how you make me feel when I come in this room, smile, make me feel welcome. I think that's important to make our guests feel good. And that was a big takeaway I got from Susan's speech about the promise. Reminds me to really go out of our way to make our guests feel so important, because guests are important, very important. We're so happy that y'all are here. So we will treat our guests like gold. We always will, won't we? Won't we treat our guests like gold? Because our guests are gold. Thank you so much for coming here today. Thank you, Susan, for that presentation. And now, Charlie's smiling a little bit because he's looking forward to competing in our contest, representing our club in a week, a couple weeks, and then Aaron as well. Aaron's not here. But our topic master will allow us to speak on our feet rather than on our seat. And he'll be doing that by asking us off-the-cuff questions, the white-knuckle portion of our meeting. I'm so nervous I can barely talk right now. Welcome, our topic master, distinguished Toastmaster Dewey McGarr.
As all topic masters know, each one of you should know, those who gave a prepared speech today get to be exempt from topic masters. So if you want to avoid answering a topics question, tell Joyce to let you to give a prepared speech. The Toastmaster and General Evaluator can be exempt if there's enough people in the room. Unlike table topics, step up to the plate. Volunteer to be Toastmaster. What were the favorite games you watched in the last year? What were the favorite games you watched in the last year? Toastmaster Nicole. Table topics answers always come to the front to shake the Toastmaster's hand, get on the microphone and on the camera.
Thank you for that question, distinguished Toastmaster Dewey. Games. Well, I used to play sports. So I know that we heard a speech from Dave on how to do a table topics question. So I'm going to avoid this question, I believe, and maybe talk about something I want to talk about.
Politician.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a little bit of a politician. I don't know. Let's see. So we have some events coming up. We have, what's that? The Unity Fest. That's going to be this Friday. So I would like to encourage everybody to come out. And I'm going to circulate a volunteer list for those who want to participate in that. So that's what I'm going to use my minute for, is to encourage you all to come out at the Epic Unity Fair, and let's let everyone know what Toastmasters is all about. Thank you for your time.
Wasn't that an epic answer? If you could wave a magic wand and one thing in your life would be checked off your bucket list, what would you pick? If you could wave a magic wand and one thing in your life could be checked off your bucket list, what would you pick? Carol.
Well, if I had a magic wand and I can wave it to eliminate something off my bucket list, it would be getting every bill paid in full right away, so I wouldn't have any more bills. I will have extra money to do what I want to do and not have to worry about bills or how I'm going to make this event happen over here for my business, how I'm going to do this over here for the house, how I'm going to help my husband with this. So what I would do is put with a Tinkerbell, little wand, bills be gone.
I believe we could all identify with that. Who has the most beautiful smile in the world? Who has the most beautiful smile in the world? Charlie.
The most beautiful smile in the world. I have to play it safe. And got that one. I have to play it safe. And for all the married men, you have to say your wife, right? It was the smile that attracted me almost 10 years ago. Matter of fact, she saw me before I saw her. So if she was up here answering this question, of course she would say me. But since I'm here, when I had an opportunity to see her, of course it was not just her beauty, but it was the smile as well. I had to go and approach her. No, wait a minute. She approached me. Let me rework that. She approached me, but definitely was the smile that attracted me. And I have to play it safe here and say the wife for sure. That's right.
If he hadn't picked his wife and she found out, that would be epic. That was my answer. What locations are on your bucket list? What locations are on your bucket list? Alexa.
Good afternoon. What locations are on my bucket list? Jerusalem is one. I'd love to go to Jerusalem and see some of the things that were built by hand, and I believe that would be a great experience. Alaska on a cruise. I think that would be nice. I love nature. Some beach with a lot of white sand, a lot of little umbrellas sitting around, whether they have alcohol in them or not. Just the whole scene of being relaxed and enjoying life. Those are a few of the places that I'd like to go. And I do believe all will be quite epic.
Dave tried to shut her down before the green light came on. She was waiting for the green light. I have many more wonderful questions for all of you folks who are dying to answer one, but alas, we're out of time. Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, as we know in life, as in Toastmasters, time is always of the essence. Thank you, Dewey, for keeping us on time. Now is the opportunity to help us determine what we did well, what we could be doing even better in the future, leading us in that role as general evaluator. How did we do in this meeting? The answer will be provided by distinguished Toastmaster and general evaluator Philip Orden.
Good afternoon. It's a great day to be in HealthMasters. It has been a great meeting. Everyone seems to be on top of their game, well prepared, came in today with the resources that they need to do the job that they were assigned to do, with one exception. Adrian is today's counter. He's over here without the bell, working that ring very hard. I think I would rather hear the bell. I can't find it. Can't find a bell for the very few occasions that we will need it. I'm sure for the remainder of this meeting we will put up with his ring sound until he gives our counter report in a few minutes. First of all, I want us to hear from our assigned evaluators today who have been working on, who have been working on their evaluations for the prepared speeches. First of those is Distinguished Toastmaster Dewey McGarr evaluating Scott Gann's speech. Welcome, Dewey.
It is fortuitous that I was selected to evaluate Scott because I am his mentor at this time. We've had a few occasions to chit-chat before and after the meetings. Really growing quickly, and I'm looking forward to his speeches. Scott, this project was Project 3, Get to the Point. Needed to determine a specific purpose and general purpose and organize the speech to where it would fulfill that purpose, as well as project sincerity and conviction and control nervousness. Finally, to strive not to use notes. Purpose was very clear from the outset. You had a good organization with the introduction, the body, and the conclusion that melded together to make it easy for us to see what your main purpose was. Your vocal variety is very good. You have changes in pitch and tone, as well as appropriate pauses to allow us to have time to reflect on what you said. Quite often I would notice you looking down at the left side of the lectern for what seemed to be an extended period of time. Some in Toastmasters might call that a pregnant pause. I'm guessing that you were reviewing your notes to see where you were next in your speech. Not really sure because I didn't see whether you brought notes to the table or not. A suggestion that I might make to you and others, if you do use notes, keep them at a minimum, make them large print, lay them flat so that at a quick glance you could see what you're looking for. I tend to have trouble finding my way on a tiny print when I'm in a speech, so the large print notes work much better for me. You might try that with your notes. Your eye contact with the audience was very good. Your strongest point is your vocal variety and your ability to organize your speech well. Forward to more speeches.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from evaluator number 2, Anita Young, evaluating Susan McGarr's speech.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good afternoon, fellow HealthMasters, Toastmasters. Susan, I evaluated your speech, keeping the time. I just wanted to start off and say that you were not nervous. And giving speeches to a group of people, no matter how many times you do it, sometimes we all can be overcome with our nervousness. So I thought that was a strong point. You also started off and you gave us a clear outline of what you're going to be talking about, so it helped us follow along as you gave your presentation. Let me see what else. The visual aid that you gave, having the PowerPoint was also helpful for me in particular because you had these ABCs that we all were going to follow. And if we don't have a visual, sometimes people can kind of forget what you're talking about, so it kept us in line. Also, you face the audience. I know that sitting in a chair, sometimes, maybe may not think to face the audience. So with you facing the audience, it also gave us a better audio when you were speaking. And my only suggestion would be maybe a little bit more eye contact. Just look up. I know that you're reading from your notes, I understand, but just give us a little more eye contact. Thank you.
Great job. Next, we will hear from evaluator number 3, Nicole Johnson, evaluating Adrian Duncan's speech.
Thank you. It's a privilege and an honor to serve as your evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Duncan. I evaluate the speech, The Power of Setting It Upright. You had wonderful vocal variety. When you opened up, you asked us a question. Have you ever been in a fire, a lion's den, a belly of a whale? And that was very captivating. It captured my attention. And I appreciate that you asked questions throughout your speech. I feel as though your speech was also relevant because I'm sure many of us have been faced with tragedies, and we all have conflicts in our lives, and it's always encouraging to hear how we can deal with those conflicts. I appreciated you using biblical references. Maybe not everyone is familiar with some of the references you used. However, I was familiar as one of your listeners, and it was encouraging. One of the things that I wasn't really clear about was how your title tied into your actual speech. I'm, not really sure how the power of setting it upright goes along with the speech you gave us. However, being ready at the last minute, because I know a lot of us speakers, me being one, was not ready to give their speech today, and so I really appreciate you stepping up. Overall, it was very uplifting and encouraging, and I look forward to more speeches from you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we will hear how we did with our use of the English language and today's word of the day, our grammarian report from Carol Jackson.
The report on the word of today, epic. I've counted a total of 17 times that the word was used. Our first speaker used it 5 times, and by that time I kind of got off track. I was like, thank you. Got off track. And I was like, wow, this word is going viral. But anyway, this is my first time doing this. And I must say, the I'm included 2 of them. So that makes it a total of 10 today. And for the rest, kind of lost track. I will do better next time. And so that's the report of the grammarian.
Thank you. Going by the agenda, Adrian Duncan was our assigned counter today. Adrian, you have any tips or help, input from us from the counter
I'll let you
corner?
tell them. I only do this every once in the third time. I noticed one person had 3 sows. I noticed one person had 4 things. I'm not sure what things are. I would say overall we did an excellent job because otherwise you heard my ring.
Very good. Time is of the essence in Toastmasters. We'll hear how we did in our use of time from Distinguished Toastmaster Joyce Biddle. We're here to be good speakers, not writers.
I had to pause to get Scott's time because I ran out to get some information. Timers report. We started the meeting on time. I didn't get the Toastmasters introduction because I was getting set up, so I don't know how long that was. I didn't get the Toastmasters minute for the same reason. Speaker number 1, 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Speaker number 2, Susan, was 5 minutes. Speaker number 3, Adrian, was around 4 minutes. I'm not quite sure because I didn't get started on time. Table top. Oh, wait a minute. Table topic. Nicole was 1 minute exactly. Carol was 49 seconds. Charlie was 38 seconds. Alexa was 1 minute and 7 seconds. We need to work on our table topics. But table topics is supposed to be 1 minute to 2 minutes. Now, but those people that are in the contest, it got to be at least 1 minute. Keep that in mind. All right, moving on. Evaluator number, general evaluator took 1 minute to introduce the evaluation section. Evaluator number 1 was 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Evaluator number 2 was 1 minute and 9 seconds. Evaluator number 3 was 1 minute and 36 seconds. Grammarian was 42 seconds. All counter was 12 seconds. And I've been speaking for 1 minute and 29 seconds. That's your timer's report.
Thank you. Just want to make a quick observation, something that you may know or have heard or learned in Toastmasters, and that is that stories can be very powerful. Never underestimate the power of a good story. Do you know one power that a story has? Just one story, all by itself, can take care of that 1 minute minimum in a table topics response when you're trying to make it to the green light. You hear the question, you answer the question, it's been 22 seconds, you're ready to sit down. How do you keep talking till you see the green light? Work in a little story. Some of my stories are so powerful that they cause me to blow right past the red light and go on the other side of the time requirement, so be careful as you do that. Well, again, it's been a great meeting. I don't want to belabor our time, but just to point out a couple of observations. I thought everyone did a great job today in keeping the bar set high for a quality meeting. It seemed like everyone came in prepared to do the role that they were assigned to do. We had visual aids. Dave came in with, did you notice that even though I think you were a last-minute Toastmaster, he brought a specific question to our minds at the beginning of each speech that he introduced. A question, then an intentional pause. When someone asks me a good question and gives me a couple of seconds to think about it, that gets the gears in my brain turning. All of a sudden, I'm ready to learn something, be inspired, or be challenged by what I'm hearing. So I thought that was very good strength of today's meeting. Great choice of the word of the day, Carol. A colorful word that we don't hear every day, yet a word that's not so obscure that we can actually use it in conversation. Epic choice for today's word of the day. We had a good blending of competent communication speeches and advanced speeches. We did all the other things that you are supposed to do in a quality club, like having the room set up, banner, flag, guest packets available, all the other things that we did well. The more full a meeting and meeting agenda are, the easier it is to flex when you need to. If something's not quite ready, move on to the next item in the agenda. Work that in as you can. I thought we did a good job today in transitioning to that. With nothing further, I will turn the meeting over to our presiding officer and club president, distinguished Toastmaster Dewey McGarr.
Toastmasters, we don't turn the meeting over, it would be upside down, so we return control to someone. You would return control or pass control to the next person. The speech contest. Even the general evaluator can be evaluated because someone comes after him. Speech contest for Area B1, B2, B3, which includes HealthMasters, Saturday, October 1st. That's a week from this Saturday. It will take place at St. Vincent Hospital in their education building. Joyce, what room number? South Auditorium. I encourage all of you to be there to hear Charles represent us. Joyce, remind us who our contestants are that are moving to the area.
Our contestants for
Just want to encourage each of the contestants, you have quality speeches. One thing that will destroy you is being out of time. Make sure that you keep running your mouth until that green light comes on, and shut up and sit down when the red light comes on, and you will do well. And you can quit talking any time after the green light comes on. You don't have to wait for the amber or the red to be safe. Nicole, you have a question? I'd encourage all of you to be there on Saturday the 1st to support our HealthMasters members who are moving forward. Those who win the area will go to the division contest at the same place, same time on October the 15th. Those who win the division will go on to the district, which will take place November 4th and 5th in Memphis, Tennessee. You have a question? When will you get out of your class? They'll probably be done by then. That being said, if you would like to participate as a contest official, you can do that. Also, the division, you cannot be a judge. Right. If you would like to be a judge, you could come on September the 24th and October the 8th to Family Life on Ranch Drive for Division A's contests. You can be a judge in those contests or any contest official. They're still looking for people in all those positions. Contact Joyce or myself, and we will get you hooked up in those positions. We'd love to have you, even if you want to just come and watch. It's going to be quality speeches. You'll enjoy just observing it, even if you're not participating as a contestant or an official. To fill those roles, they can be signed off in your competent leader book in the appropriate places. Any other comments? Any other club business before we adjourn?
Jews!
Yes.
Jews got to be paid. Change the rules. The first.
They used to have a grace period. That grace period doesn't exist anymore as of July 1st. Pay your dues on time. That's what they're working on, helping you to get into leadership.
By the agency, pay your $6. So see Sonia, me.
I understand we have some guests in the room who are not yet Toastmasters. Could I get you to stand, give us your name, and what brought you here today? The guests. Yes.
My name is Jacqueline.
We could all learn from this little girl. If you're not at work, come to Toastmasters. That's a no-brainer. Any other business before we go? It's 1 o'clock, meeting adjourned.
I got one now. I went to a meeting, so. No, don't feel bad at all.